Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DIY website Intro to Visual Page Builders presentation. My name is Amber Victoria, and my company is called Creative Chrysalis. We are a web design and creative firm based in Asheville, North Carolina. So, the purpose of this webinar today is to really walk you through, if you're someone who is unfamiliar with creating websites, or just maybe you're not a technical person in general, you don't know how to code, but you're wanting to put something for your brand or your business, put your website online and just get it out there for the lowest costs possible. That's what I'm here to show you today based on the tools that we have available in 2019. So let's get into it. The first thing we will start with is talking about what is a visual page builder. So with these platforms, the user actually creates sections of their website by interacting with visual blocks instead of code. So what that means for you is it's kind of like you get to play Tetris with your website. So these platforms have gained recent popularity as a way for beginners to create simple sites on a low budget, which is why we're calling it DIY, do it yourself, right? So the two platforms that we're going to cover today are called Wix and Squarespace. These are the two that I found working with them and also doing research that they're, number one, they're the most popular website page like builders on the market right now. And also I found that they are the two that are the most user-friendly and beginner-friendly. So we'll talk a little bit about these. So the DIY website. What does that mean? So as I mentioned earlier, there's no coding experience or programming experience required or necessary in order to make a website on these platforms. That being said, there is some awesome stuff that you can do using these platforms by adding in your own style code and adding in your own functionality into the website. That should be done by someone that is a professional and knows how to work with front-end web development. So I would be wary of straying into watching any tutorials for Wix or Squarespace on how to add custom code to your website if you don't have experience or you're not hiring a professional. There is plenty of amazing stuff that you can do with these platforms without even adding any code. So let's plan to stick there. As I mentioned, these platforms have an emphasis on visual elements. So I see this as an opportunity to allow anyone to build a website while using these blocks, which are actually pre-coded elements of your website that follow these preset standards and best practices that Wix and or Squarespace are adhering to for you. So you don't have to think about the nitty-gritty of how much space is in between, the image and the text. They are automatically going to be able to provide that ratio for you in these blocks of code. So it's pretty awesome. And these sites also offer website building platforms that are automatically responsive. So what responsive means in terms of a web page is that the content of the site actually shifts around as the screen size changes. So right now I'm giving this presentation on my desktop, which is a larger screen. And I want to make sure, whenever I put any content online, that it looks good on the desktop. It also looks good on a tablet, and it especially looks good on a mobile phone, because that is where most web traffic is actually coming from in 2019, is from the phones. So these two platforms offer a responsive website that is going to change to, again, fit those best practices in the industry automatically. You can go in and tweak the way that your site looks on mobile using special tools that they have if you want to further shore it up, but you can be assured that at least it's going to be responsive, and you're not going to have a website that you make that looks is crazy hard to read or super blown out of proportion on a mobile phone. So that's pretty awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the process overview. So the first thing that we're going to do for each one of these two platforms is we're going to review the pricing structures that they have available, any free or freemium options that they give out, and compare those. And then we're going to talk about the setup for how the steps to actually start an account. This is going to be a really brief overview because both of these platforms actually have great documentation available to help make this accessible for beginners. So then we're going to go into some tips for the process of actually making it happen. And those are really more design-oriented tips to help you with your entire workflow, because as a professional, I do this a lot, and I've come up with a system that works for me to help when I'm building a website to keep it as mellow and as least stressful as possible. So I'm going to share some of those tips with you. And then there are some resources. So you will be able to download this presentation and the other resources covered at a link that I'll share at the end. I do want to share a note. So on upkeep of your website, we are not covering the topics of site security or backing up your website. So these platforms do have some standard site and auto save options available. That being said, you always run the risk as a beginner of messing something up or losing your work or getting your information hacked. So just a general disclaimer that make sure to hire a professional support person as soon as you start generating income for your new website, because that really is the best way to protect you and your company. All right, so let's get started with talking about Wix. Wix is actually, I found, the most popular website page builder platform available today. I've used it for clients. I know a lot of people are starting to, really use it more. And so I did find in my research that free plans are available with Wix if you use a generic subdomain. So we're going to talk about web domains a little bit. The Wix platform does allow you to say I'm starting a new website called myawesomewebsite.com, but I don't actually have the rights to myawesomewebsite.com yet. So what I'm going to do is go into Wix or another platform. If you've already bought this, there's many different platforms to purchase a web domain subscription. And on Wix, it's actually going to allow me to search for myawesomewebsite.com and see if it's available. So it might not be available if someone else is currently, owning that website domain. But chances are that you'll be able to find something that's a good enough fit for your website with a little bit of just searching. So if you don't actually want to buy the yearly subscription or license for your website, which has to be renewed every year, or you could do up to 3 or 10 years, I think, but it's a minimum of every year. If you don't want to buy that, the price ranges between $11 and $30 a month usually, and unless someone else currently has the rights to that domain and they are wanting to sell it to the highest bidder, then the price could be higher. But if you aren't wanting to take on that expense right now, then Wix does have this free plan available where you can use what they call their subdomain, which is basically a series of text or numbers before the website name. So this example they gave me for my account is amber962.wixsite.com/my site. So again, the technicalities of that content will be different depending on your website name, your login, all those things. But that would be something that, while it's not quite ideal for a business because it's not just branded, the website name, people can tell that you built it on Wix for free. It's still a great way to say, hey, I have this thing that I built, or if you're working on an MVP, a minimum viable product, or just want to show, potential investors, or if you're doing a seed round for friends and family and you want you're raising money, that's a great way to go ahead and put your content out there without putting any upfront expense on it. And then you can always buy the domain and upgrade your account to a paid account after that. So that's the free plan is available. So you can build a website on Wix without paying anything. You'll just have this subdomain, which is where users will go to visit your site. The other options that they have for their paid plans range from $11 to $35 a month, and you can pay for those monthly or annually. You will actually get your first year of a domain that you purchase. That fee will be waived if you go with their actually any paid plan. So if you go with the monthly plan or the annual paid plan, then you get your first year of the domain free, which again, it's not a super high cost for the domain usually overall when it comes to your website, but it's cool to be able to have that. So let's hop over and see what Wix actually looks like. So I am signed in. So here is Wix for me. This is the back end where I can get resources and different things. I am currently using the free site. So over here it says upgrade. Actually, I'm going to go down here to edit site. So here we are in my Wix website editor. So this is what I mean by a visual builder. These different chunks of images and text and buttons are actually different blocks that I've dragged and dropped here. So this is actually a template. So I didn't design this myself, but you can see over here on the menu, there are different buttons that are easy to navigate with icons, different things that I can add, sizing that I can adjust, and I can go in and edit the text as well, of course, as well as the images to help, and the colors to help bring it up to date for my brand. So this is what Wix looks like, and I feel like it's pretty user-friendly. I like it. So Squarespace. The Squarespace platform is really similar to the Wix platform. It has maybe a little bit less popularity than Wix, but I know a lot of people who use it. The main difference with Squarespace, well, there are a couple of things. So before we look at it, I will say there is a 14-day free trial. That's the only free option that Squarespace offers. You cannot, as far as I know, get a free account on Squarespace using a subdomain, as we talked about with Wix. That being said, they do let you have a 14-day free trial, so you can at least, get the website up in a couple of days and then decide, if you're going to move forward with a subscription. But that free trial does expire. So their paid plans range from $12 to $40 per month, and you can pay that fee monthly or annually, just like Wix. So you actually can get your first year of your new domain free with any plan that's paid annually. Whereas with Wix, you can pay monthly or annually, and they just kind of lump the domain in with your purchase. With Squarespace, they will waive the cost of your domain if you pay annually. So looking at what we've got going on for Squarespace, this is Squarespace. So again, this is a template that I've used that they have available for free. And I can go in here and edit this text, change the font. I can drag in different buttons, different sections, or I can simply use the template that they've provided. Very similar to Wix, they have a lot of awesome templates that I think are great and are also mobile responsive. And I think they make it really easy to put your content up here with already, pre-made awesome experiences. So pretty similar to the Wix editor. I actually like the Wix editor a little bit better personally because I feel like it's easier to navigate the tools that I have, and they're kind of like always in front of me. Whereas on the Squarespace site, it's harder for me to navigate around. Like, it's been a while since I've made a page with Squarespace actually. So it'll take a little more time for me to get used to that one, but they're both great, I think. So overall, the differences between these two, it's really not much. So Wix, as we said, they do offer a free membership option, whereas Squarespace doesn't. They both have free themes that you can browse through. They definitely both also have premium themes that you can pay for, but they have free ones as well. They both offer paying the subscription either monthly or annually. They both offer domain purchasing from within their platform, so you don't have to go out and buy your domain on Google Domains or GoDaddy or any other platform. And they also have a hosting, third-party hosting that they work with, so you don't have to actually worry about setting up hosting for your website either. And in terms of beginner friendliness, I ranked Wix with 2 stars and Squarespace with 1. Or actually, Wix has 3 and Squarespace has 2, because I feel like they're both really quite beginner friendly. But I do feel like Wix has put more and really invested more into the usability of it and the user friendliness. So that's what I would suggest personally is Wix. So in order to get started, you actually want to go create a new account. So for example, if you're using Squarespace, then you would go to squarespace.com/get started. To get started on Wix, it's just wix.com, and they have an onboarding track for you there. And then you want to, I would say, go ahead and, create your account, get your email and your password, confirm your email address, set up your password, and go ahead. And if you are going to purchase the domain, your website domain, go ahead and do that and get all the way to the point where it's like you're ready to build your website, and then pause, because there are a couple more steps that we should take in order to make this as easy and smooth of a process for you as possible. So the next thing that I want you to do is draw out your sitemap for your website. And then after that, draw out a wireframe for the website. Then you'll be ready to build your website on Squarespace or on Wix. So before we talk about these different things in detail, let's give an overview of what these are. So here's a pro tip. In order to prevent overwhelm, it's best to develop your plans before you start building the website. So we're going to use a sitemap. A sitemap is actually a written graph showing how your site's landing page is related to the other pages and menu items. This map lists each page on your website. A wireframe, on the other hand, is a crude, drawn out plan for actually the content of each website page. So let's look at a sitemap. Here is an example of a website sitemap. So you see we have the home page up there at the top. That's actually the landing page. So landing page is where all the traffic is being directed into your website, where they land. You might have multiple different landing pages for your website. Say you have one that's your home page that you put on your business card. That's a landing page. You might have another landing page that is for some kind of like sales campaign that you're running. So the link that you give for that campaign might be myawesomewebsite.com/new year. And that will also be considered a landing page if that's the first place that you're having people land when they come to your website to do a specific thing. So for this purpose, and for most websites, the landing page is the home page, and that's the main one. So within my home page, I'm going to have links to 4 different menu items. So these menu items are typically on like the top bar of the website. I want to have a services menu item, a contact menu item, an about us, and a privacy policy. So notice here that these 4 different ones, 2 out of them actually have sub pages under them. So the services option, for example, on my menu that would be a drop-down menu where I would click services, and then it would show these 3 different options of which service page do I want to go to: graphic design, web design, or consulting. Then the user would pick that and they would go to that page. So you can have a page for services if you want, or you could just have it represented in your sitemap as an in-between navigational point where you don't really put content on there, you just use it in your menu. Or you could have a page for it, and then that page directly links to each of those 3 subpages, similar with the About Us. So this is just a rough example of sitemap. A lot of people draw it, hand draw it. I like to draw it out because I haven't really found like a computer program that I love working with letters and lines. I just like to draw it. So go ahead and write out what the different pages you want on your website are, what you want. If you have multiple, you may just have one page that you want to start with, which I actually think is the best way to go. Now let's talk about a wireframe. So I said crude and I meant it. Wireframes are one of my favorite things to get into when I'm building a website for a client because, again, it lets me use a pen and a piece of paper. And also, it doesn't have to look good. It usually doesn't, actually. It's just a series of boxes, squares, and squiggly lines. So I challenge you to take out a piece of paper and draw out a big rectangle, which is, your phone screen or your computer screen, and then just start drawing in like boxes, spaces for pictures, spaces for words. What do you want the content of your website to be? And you can make notes out to the side and draw arrows and say, this is what this is, this is what this is. That is by far the best way to design a website, y'all. Really, seriously. I do not recommend going straight into Wix or Squarespace and trying to just design as you go. You want to have a really good, feel for what you want the content of your website to be. Then if you go into your website page builder and you decide to use a pre-built theme, it might look a little bit different than what you drew out in your wireframe, but you will still be able to have a guide of, okay, this is the type of content that I want up here. I want my bio up here, and then I want a button to, book a time appointment slot with me under that. You can still use a template to be able to guide that content, and it will help you a lot. Or you'll be even more empowered if you decide to go in and use the visual page builder to just drag and drop your content on your own. So that is the basic overview of what a wireframe is. We are getting close to the end of the presentation, so I do want to say that resources are available. You can download this presentation, these slides, and view design resources at my website, creativechrysalis.me/DIY website. So I have some more examples of wireframes up there, which could be helpful, and then some links to a sitemap and wireframe resources as well if you're wanting to learn more about that. Also, let me know if you have questions or comments. Feel free to email me. Again, my name is Amber Victoria, and you can find me at amber@creativechrysalis.me. I hope that this is helpful, and good luck on your journey. We have so much love and support for you.